guys, Dr. Barker here of drchrisbarker.com, Health Made Simple. And today I want to talk to you about the dirty secrets of the sweetener industry. And you know, back in the day, you go to a restaurant and you really had two options, maybe some white sugar and if you were lucky, some honey. Nowadays, there are so many different options out there. How do you navigate what's best for your family? What do these do to your body? Are they safe for you? I'm gonna go over all those questions and give you the information you need so you can make a logical decision what is best for you. So first one is the classic yellow packet called Splenda. Now Splenda actually has something in it called sucralose. Sucralose is 600 times more sweet than sugar. And you know, the slogan is a little misleading for Splenda. It says made from sugar, so tastes like sugar. It actually is no sugar in this. It is an artificial sweetener that's tied with a chlorine molecule. It's essentially a chlorinated, packet. And what the Journal of Toxicology has found out in animals is that this destroys good gut bacteria. So it led to all sorts of digestive system problems, candida, leaky gut. It destroyed good flora and allowed bad bacteria to set up. Also been shown too to increase the pH of the stomach and intestine walls. As your pH increases, it sets up an environment for all sorts of diseases. Also, they're finding out it literally tricks your body, destroys appetite regulation, and long term, studies have shown it will actually increase weight gain because it's affecting hormones, affecting endocrine distributors that are basically not allowing your body to perceive calories correct. So again, Splenda, the jury isn't out yet, but artificially chlorinated, don't know if it's the best to ingest. The next one is the blue packet called, maybe you're used to it called Equal or NutraSweet. These blue packets are loaded with something called aspartame. Now, I always say if you want to know what a product is used for, know the history of it. Aspartame was actually found by a chemist. He actually was working in the lab. I don't know why he didn't wash his hands, but he went home and he was reading a book and he licked his finger to get to the next page and he noticed, wow, that was sweet. Hence, it was a chemical and now you have aspartame. That's the history of it. It made in a lab. Now, aspartame also too is 200-300 times more potent and more sugary than sugar, but aspartame is made up of three parts. 2 amino acids, aspartic acid, phenylalanine, and it's made up of an alcohol called methanol. Now, science knows that aspartic acid is an excitotoxin. Because it's so sweet, it excites your neurons to death. So it destroys, neural pathways and the endocrine system. But the most alarming thing is the methanol. Now, methanol, if you're not familiar, is an alcohol. It's found in wood lacquers. Methanol also is, if you go into your carport right now, it's found in antifreeze. Now the issue with this is, please, if you use this, do not use these at high temperatures. At high temperatures, aspartame breaks down and then methanol breaks down into something called formic acid and formaldehyde. Now, if any of you guys know, in biology class, you remember that frog that was in that weird jar? That's formaldehyde. Embalming, people that die, morticians use this. It is a known carcinogen. Now, the argument is that, well, your body excretes that, your body doesn't absorb it. Research is coming out now that, again, formaldehyde and these toxins, they never really leave your tissue cells. So, again, also aspartame, if you have headaches, migraines, it's a known issue, causes different headaches and different issues for individuals. So, again, artificial, I don't know if it's the best for an individual, especially kids. The next packet, as we hear this one, this is the most controversial one. This is called Sweet and Low, and it's filled with something called saccharin. Same issue. There was a guy back in the day, he was a chemist. He went home, I don't know why they don't wash their hands, ate a dinner roll, and he goes, holy cow, that's sweet. And he's like, what did I do? He actually went back in the lab. I don't know if this is good, lab safety procedures, and he tasted everything until he dialed down what the sweetener was, and hence saccharin came about. World War I, World War II, this was a staple, but it was removed off the market recently, back in the day, because they found that it causes bladder cancer in rats. Now, over the last couple decades, it is back on the market. Anything, though, that's been taken off the market and comes back for political reasons, I don't know it's the best. It is tied, though, to endocrine and neural problems. It causes all sorts of hormone imbalances. Long term, they're finding out it will gain excessive weight gain because, again, it's damaging endocrine system, thyroid system. Artificially, I don't know if this packet is the best. The next one is, this is a newer one. It's called Truvia. Now, if you read the back of this, it has something called erythritol into it, and this is actually a sugar alcohol. The cool thing about it is most fruits actually have sugar alcohols in them, but they're found at very low levels. They say in fruits it's 0.0005. So do the math. You know how much fruit you would need to produce one of these little packets? It would not be economical. So that's why they're using GMO products, GMO sugar, convert it to an alcohol, and then press the product to get this. They're finding out now it takes 42 steps to produce Truvia. So again, logically, the more man has touched it and the more procedures it goes through in steps, it's going to be chemically altered. Again, this is new. There's not a lot of research out on it, but because it's so contaminated and touched by man, I don't know if this is the best option out there. But again, sugar alcohol is better, though, than these, I would say, artificial chemical toxins. The next one is, again, classic white sugar. And the thing about this is, I know what you're thinking, there's no way that I use this amount of sugar, but this amount of sugar is, according to the American Heart Association, the average person uses 22 teaspoons of sugar a day. And you're like, no way. Where do these hide? Drinks, barbecue sauces, salad dressings. There's so many different places that sugar is rampant. And why is sugar bad? Because if you don't use it as energy, guess what it's stored as? Fat. And what's happening now is that the average person, to have a sugary drink, ingest sugar, you feel amazing, you get that sugar high, and then a couple hours later, what do? You crash like a rock. The problem is sugar goes into your bloodstream, and if it wasn't removed, the body would actually break down and actually the cells would die. So the body produces insulin, pulls it out of your bloodstream to make sure that your body's regulated correctly. The problem is too much sugar. We all know anti-nutrient. Sugar creates all sorts of toxicity issues. But again, it's better than the artificial ones out there. Other one is, I hear this a lot, this is a big thing, is sugar in the raw. Now, sugar in the raw, you can see this, is that it has it's granulated compared to processed white sugar. And you can see this. It basically just has a few less steps of being processed. So the less processed it is, I think the better it is for you. But again, sugar is sugar. Sugar in the raw, though, is a good option if you need a sweetener. The other one is, I love this one, honey. Now, honey is controversial because if you have the wrong honey, it will cause all sorts of, health and different problems. But you want USDA organic and you want raw local honey. And now it's very important because raw local honey will help people with allergies, allergens, respiratory problems. The reason that works is bees local to your area get pollen on them. The pollen gets into the honey. You ingest the honey. It's almost like a healthy inoculation. So when you become introduced to these pollens and allergens, the body says, hey, I already built up an immunity to that, and you will not have all the symptoms that you associate. Also, cool thing about honey is as long as it's raw and local, it has a time release energy. So with sugar, you take it in, it's all like that. Honey gives you energy slowly, kind of breaks it up intermittently, so you do not have this glucose spike and then you suddenly crash. So honey, as long as it's the correct type, I do think is a good alternative to these other sweeteners. And the last one, I think one of the better ones out there is something called Stevia. And it's hit the market by storm. It's the hot new word out there, hot new sweetener. Really, what is Stevia? It is basically a plant that's broken up, and it has sweetener and sweet properties. Now, there's different types of Stevia, and this is important you read this. There's two types. There's an extract version, so a liquid version. The liquid version isn't the best. The better version would be something called, you want the green leaves. So I like a version called Sweet Leaf. It's USDA organic, and virtually what it is, they take these leaves, stevia leaves, they crush them up, and then they're suddenly in your package. So again, think logically, the less that it's manufactured, the less steps that happen, the more logical and healthy it is for you. But stevia has been shown to help people with diabetes. It regulates their blood sugar, regulates cholesterol levels. So I think this is a healthy option. So again, I know it can be confusing when you go to restaurants for you and your family. There's a lot of different options out there. But again, think, the more someone has touched it, the more it's been formulated in a lab, it can't be good for you long term. So I encourage you, do your research, get out there and look what works best. But I encourage you, use the natural things, because long term, it will make a change in your health, and long term won't affect all these different issues we talked about. So again, Dr. Barker here, and I look forward to helping you any way I can.